Hi everybody, my name is Stacy and I'm with Allison's Pantry. I'm a sales manager with the company, and I'd like to share with you today an idea for lunch about salads. There's a new thing that's popular right now, and that is to do salads in mason jars. I thought they looked kind of fun, and so I embarked to try a few, and we'll see how they turn out. Now there's a few things that we are going to use today that are our products. First one is our Rosie's Ranch. I like to mix it up in a mixer, and I actually use the buttermilk instead of regular milk, but it tastes wonderful. Much better than that other brand that's out there. The other things that we're going to feature are the grains that we have brand new. They're made by In Harvest. Today we're going to use the Golden Jewel blend. It has couscous and quinoa in it, and I think you'll really like it. We're going to use that as one of our ingredients in our salad. So basically, the thing that you want to know about the mason jar salad, what makes it so fun, is you can make these ahead of time and put them in your refrigerator, and then when you're in a hurry and going to work or on the go, you can grab one out of your refrigerator and head out the door. Now they do last approximately 5 to 7 days, and they're just as fresh as when you put them in. So today I'm going to do a few together. I actually put one together already, so you can kind of see it is all layered, and there's a trick to layering, and so we'll talk a little bit about that. I do want to tell you, there's a couple different ways you can seal your mason jars. Most people are familiar with the ring and the lid. You can go ahead and just use those if you have lids around. They don't even have to be fresh, brand new lids. If you have an older lid, that you can just clean it off and go ahead and use it. It still has the rubber base and it'll seal. So you can go ahead and put those on. And then there's another way too. If you go down the canning aisle, you can find these little plastic lids, and they work really slick on these jars. And they're reusable. So you just put them on, take them off. So either way works for the salads. We'll go ahead and get started. So first of all, you need to know what dressing you're going to use. With your mason jar salads, preferably vinaigrettes tend to work the best. Vinaigrettes kind of just stay where they're at a little bit more, and they also can kind of pickle some of the vegetables that are down there, so it actually makes a little more flavor. Now you can use your creamy dressings, which my family loves ranch, so I'm going to go ahead and use some ranch, and then I also have a couple of vinaigrettes too that we'll use, and put those in the bottom. And then the next layer after with your dressing, you're going to want to put in 2 to 3 tablespoons. So I'm going to go ahead and just measure some out with the ranch. This little container is actually 3 tablespoons. So we'll go ahead and put that in. I'll do a couple ranch, and then we'll do another vinaigrette. I don't want to mix the two. I tend to like all different kinds of vinaigrettes, so you'll make sure you shake it up before you put it in your jar, just so it's all blended before you put it in there. And so any flavor will do. If you're doing, depends on what you're doing. You can also use blue cheese if you're doing like a Cobb salad. Whatever you prefer works great. Okay, so we have our dressings in there. Now, the next layer you're going to want to put in there are your very hearty vegetables. These would be peppers. You can actually use our Flavor Pack frozen peppers. Pull those out, slice them, let them thaw, and slice them up and put them in your jar. So you can use peppers. I like cabbage, purple cabbage, or green cabbage, whatever your preference is. So put a little cabbage in there. The other kind of hearty vegetables, carrots. Carrots are heavy, so anything that's kind of sturdy vegetable. So we can use some carrots. I'll throw a few carrots, and you can actually take your own carrots and julienne them up if you want. I kind of cheat and buy them that way. But tomatoes are another very hearty, and they like to use the little grape tomatoes because they're a little more sturdy. That way you can actually put them in whole, or I like to cut them in half and add them that way so that they're not quite as big. And I'll just put a couple in there. Now you can notice that we're already starting to fill up, and there's not a ton of room. So you're going to want to realize that this is just an average salad. And if you'd like to make a bigger one for your family, if you didn't want to make salad every night and you wanted some in the fridge, do, 3 or 4 quart size jars. Oh, I forgot to mention too, you'll notice that I am using the wide mouth jars. You can use regular mouth, but wide mouth work better because it's easier to get in and get out that dressing. Okay, cucumbers are another hearty vegetable. We're going to throw those in there. And I'm just not measuring, I'm just taking a handful. Now I like onion in my salad. You can if you want. If you don't, just don't add it. That's another hearty vegetable. Okay, next vegetables are the ones that are not quite so hearty. They're we call them the soft vegetables. Oh, I forgot to tell you, broccoli and cauliflower would fit in that hearty vegetable. The soft ones are the zucchini, any kind of sprouts, green beans, and then I like mushrooms. So we're gonna go ahead and add some mushrooms in there. And now you'll see too, as we're adding those in, that as you start layering, that gets farther and farther away from the dressing. So you're putting your items in there that you don't want to sit in the dressing because they won't absorb it as well. So we want that to happen. So we're putting our mushrooms in more towards the top. The next layer are our pastas, where you could add pasta right here, or our grains. And that's where I'm gonna add this quinoa, the garden or the golden blend. It's got quinoa and couscous in it. And I'm just adding 1/4 of a cup because I don't want a ton, but you'll see it's just in there. And then the next layer is going to be your proteins. Now you can add your cheeses or meats. I took our chicken breast. I had grilled some chicken breast the other day with our Mediterranean, or not Mediterranean, excuse me, Montreal herb seasoning on there and seasoned them up, and I had a couple breasts left. So I just went ahead and cut them up and diced them into pieces, and I'm gonna go ahead and add those to this salad. It's gonna be great. Now you could add ham, you could add bacon, and a hint too on the bacon if you're doing a Cobb salad. Make sure you crisp up the bacon pretty good. So use your pre-cook, put it in the microwave, crisp it up pretty good, and then chop it up. Put it in there if you want to keep it crisp so that it doesn't get soggy. And then the last thing I'm going to add is a little bit of feta cheese. You could use grated cheddar if you want. I love feta in my salads. So we'll go ahead and put it in. Now the last but not least is your lettuce. I like romaine. It holds its shape a little bit better. This is actually a mixture of romaine and of iceberg lettuce. The one trick that you want for this is you want to rinse it off and then dry it as best you can so it's not wet, because the drier it is, the more crisp it's going to stay. And I like to push it in there, compact it down in there pretty good, because I really like a lot of green lettuce, and you'll notice that at the top of this jar, we didn't leave like a ton of room for it, but that's great because lettuce squishes. So you can put it in there, and pardon my hands, I just used my hands. I washed them though, they're clean. And you're gonna put that in there. Now, the last thing in there with the lettuce, if you have any seeds that you wanna put in, like maybe some cranberries or maybe your sunflower seeds or anything like that, you can just sprinkle those right on top, and then go ahead and put your top down on there and seal it up. Now, it won't hurt it if it tips sideways, but you'll notice as it is right now, the dressing is staying at the bottom. It's not gonna go anywhere. So hopefully in your lunch bag, you can just keep it upright like this. Now, it's hard to eat out of a jar, so just take a paper plate or a jar with you, or a bowl with you, so that when you get to where you're going, you can just tip it upside down and go ahead. And if you want, now they told you could just shake it, but I don't think you could. You could actually invert this and let the dressing cover everything and then dump it out if you wanted. But either way, you can just stir it up. And here's our one with our vinaigrette in the bottom, and you can see how pretty they are. So that is an idea for you for salads in a mason jar. I'm going to attach another a list of ingredients and ideas for you for different salads. I hope you enjoy. Thanks.